You're welcome. In terms of drawing this stuff, it doesn't matter what exam you pick here. Okay, I've opened up to exam 74. And on exam 74, it's section 2. So what I want you to do, and this, again, this we can be doing, don't go crazy. I mean, you have time and I don't want you to rush, right? If you have time during the week, all I would have you do on the assignment, right, for analytical, is look at each, go from exam 72 through exam 77, right? But you don't have to do the work. All I would have you do is look at it, and then based on what we do today, see if you can organize it. First thing is just see, you say, can I draw it, right? And then see whether or not you can manage it. And I don't really care right now about whether you can solve. So solving is what you would do question by question, right? What I'd like to get in place is to build up your sense impression. Because if you came in like next week, right, and then I would say to you, okay, why did you have a sense was approachable? And again, you don't have to do the whole, you don't have to be working. It's sort of like, it's kind of like, you got to get to the end of the diving board to get to the water, right? So I'm not really asking you to jump. In other words, I'm not asking you to complete the process. I am saying, based on the information you gather with respect to, would I be able to organize this thing, right? And do I think I would be able to manage it? And again, I'll demonstrate what that is. If you just stop there, and you did as many of these hypotheticals as is reasonable, you don't go crazy, but from exam 72 through exam 77, you would come in with a list, and you'd be saying to me, these are the ones that I think are approachable, and these are the ones I think are not approachable. You get that is laying the groundwork for the performance on the exam. Because that decision is the difference, oftentimes, difference between success and failure. If you make good choices, you'll go to law school. If you make poor choices, probably will not go to law school. You don't understand? No. So I'm just going to take this out. So if I look here at it, at exam 74, and say, okay, again, when you take the exam, you're going to look at all 4 hypotheticals. You're not going to jump in. You're going to say, because I can't say here, positioning may matter. Like in analytical, I don't think I've ever, and again, this is subjective though, but I don't think I've ever seen the first hypothetical be the most difficult. So yeah, I'm comfortable with that. But I've seen the second is the most difficult. So it doesn't follow the logical reasoning path. And it shouldn't really matter, because what you're saying is, can I draw it, and can I manage it? Now drawing, all they're doing here, there's just 2 things they're really testing. Would it be fair to say everybody in here is capable of working with a calendar?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, and if you're not going to be a what?
Lawyer.
You're not. So all that is, you can use whatever word you want to describe it, right? But if everybody here is comfortable, so I would use, I could use the word order, right? I mean, what's the difference between saying Sunday to Saturday and 1 through 7? If you're drawing something, what would the difference be? Would there be any difference? No. So what is the difference between saying the number 6 and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, AM, PM? Would you draw those things the same way? I mean, you might have separation between the days, but do you see you'd have 6 sequential lines, yeah? There's nothing fancy about this. But you have to be able to do this, certainly in this profession. Okay. So one of the dominant ways they're testing, and you will be tested on it, is I'll use the word order, but you can use whatever word you want, right? But you're going from left to right. So they could use the word order, sequence. I don't know about you, but if it's sequence and I see 1, 3, 5, 7, I'm kind of guessing 9's up next. So sequence takes me from left to right. Order takes me from left to right. Days of the week take me from left to right. Nobody is trying to trick you. How about the word consecutive? I don't know about you, but I'm seeing left, right. You seeing left, right? Gosh, go figure. And would it be fair to say with respect to consecutive that Wednesday is consecutive to both Tuesday and Thursday? Talk to me. So you don't just see this as what's to the right, because that's how generally we function. We function as, when I say Wednesday, what's the next day you think of?
Thursday.
Thursday. But when we use the word adjacent or we use the word consecutive, is it fair to say it's not just Thursday? Okay. And you want to be lawyers, so we just get more careful with language. So order is one dominant way you're going to have to draw. And it's just no big deal. The other dominant way you have to draw is not based, got nothing to do with order. Again, the words are fungible. So you could use the word categorization. You could use the word assignment. In other words, aside from left to right, is it fair to say that oftentimes people have, or things have characteristics and they can be ordered by the character? In other words, instead of doing, if I said in this room, we want to separate it by gender, is it fair to say that has nothing to do with order? And you might have, male on one side and female on the other, right? And then you'd be organizing by gender. If I said, let's organize by status, and then I define the status. So if I said, let's say student, and then let's say professional, and then let's say loser. But would it be fair to say, well, because I'd be over there in the loser category, so I'd like to be alone if you don't mind. But do you get? That's very different from order. So I don't care what words you use. Like if you want to use the word grouping, use the word grouping. I don't care, right? But it's the concept that matters. So we're not now talking about order. We're talking about a characteristic that's shared. So. If they have 3 debate teams and there's one debate team from high school X and there's one from high school Y, one from high school Z, you get, that's not order, that's whatever that word is you want to use, right? So now I'm drawing, for me it'd be more like columns, right? If you're saying, okay, you can do it left to right or up down, but there's a difference between an organizing principle based on to what thing do you belong, as opposed to in what order are you placed. That's it. And they'll combine the two so that you'll be doing both. That is minimum, bare minimum, 75% of all the analytical you'll have will be drawn that way. Likelihood will be 100%. If it's not, I'll get into that, but I don't want to go there right now. There's a third hypothetical they have where there are just 2 universes. So I would call it a conditional universe. It doesn't matter, but we will cover it, but it's not where I want to be right now. So you're sitting there, you're going to look at this and say, they're going to either want me to draw left to right in order, right? Or they're going to want me to do this by assignment, or whatever word you want to use. And I look here at questions 1 through 5. A concert is given by a 6-member band. GKP, so I'm gonna write down GKP. Oh, I'm sorry.
We already did this in the agenda.
I'm sorry?
We did this.
Oh. Did I do this one?
No,
No,
we
we
didn't.
did.
Okay. How about, did he continue on, or I forget?
No.
Okay. Let's go to the second one. So here I have 4 historians, F, G, H, and J. All right. Okay. They're going to give a series of 4 public lectures, each lecture on a different topic. L-O-S-W. So let me just write down. So if you're just doing something, you're going to take the clock off, right? Because you're just trying to understand this. Would it be fair to say it's likely I'm going to have to assign a speaker to a topic or a topic to a speaker?
Yes.
Right? So that's that second thing I'm saying right now, right? Okay. So, but I could do that by putting F, G, H, J up here, right? And then just putting in L, O, S, W below it or reverse it. Okay. But I get it's the assignment thing right now. Let's see what else we have here. But now they say the lectures will be given one at a time. So that implicates order, right? One at a time means we are going from left to right. So they're doing both here. Both what are you speaking about and when are you speaking about it, which increases the complication. Okay, I got it. So the lectures are given one at a time, with each art historian giving a lecture on a different one of the topics. So that's straightforward, okay? It's 1-to-1. And the schedule, and that word schedule again tells you it's left to right, is as follows. So this is going to end up, so I'm doing 2 things here. One is I'm assigning a speaker to a topic, right? And then the second is I'm going to let you know when that person is actually going to speak on that topic. So yeah, you get that? That's just a lot there. I understand it. I may want to take 12 minutes on it and part of a plan, but I see it. Okay, let me see. Now, so would it be fair to say they're letting me draw this? Okay. But now I need to understand, again, the big picture here is this was the initial law. Again, bringing this back down to law. You were given law. And the original law was there are 4 speakers, and those 4 speakers are going to speak on 4 topics. And each speaker will speak on exactly 1 topic. And they will do it in order. That was the original law. There's not much to that original law. What happens now is the law changes. So now the constraints change the original law. Okay. And the first constraint is, now think about, who do you want to build your case on? The first one here is that oil painting lecture and water painting lecture must be earlier than the lithograph lecture. So OMW, the lectures, have to be before L. So, okay, they're letting me draw that, because I would just do this. I would say OMW. And I want to underline the O, the W, and the L. And that's what you're going to do. You're just going to be a machine. Now, with respect to an inference, is it fair to say, since this has to go to order, right? Is it fair to say that lithographs must have to be the 3rd or the 4th lecture given?
Yes.
That's what's being tested on. Again, information. One requires you to get this right, not now conflate or mistake this for the speaker, right? You have to remember, these are lectures, right? And the second thing is, but what is inferred from it? And what is inferred from that is that L's either 3rd or 4th. Okay. And I now see these are my witnesses. The purpose of underlining, they came in and they saw me. So right now, L, O, and W are more important than anybody else in building a theory of the case, because I haven't met anybody else. What's next? F's lecture must be earlier than O, so F as a person has got to be earlier than the oil painting. So F. Again, you want to keep in mind the difference between the lecturer, right, and the topic. But stop for a second. If you're telling me that F's got to come before O, with respect to F, isn't it fair to say that F has to give the first or the second lecture?
Yes.
Talk to me.
Yes.
And this is, it's really an interesting test. Because unless you're a freak, you have to deliberate. And what don't you have? What do they not give you? Time. And that's the paradox of the test, right? And so that's what a plan does, right? But unless you are just freak bright, I'm telling you, now you can get better at this, you can get faster at this and making that inference, right? But I'm building a case. In terms of trying to make this visual, do you see I could have F here in one universe and F here in a second universe?
Yes.
And do you see that once I place F there, I get information about O and L? So it's not just F, because remember, we're building a case, right? So if I go on F, and everybody agrees that F has to go first or second, yes? And everybody understands why. Talk to me, right? But it's not just F. It's when I place F in that second universe where F is second, doesn't that mean O has to be third in terms of the lecture given, and L has to be fourth in terms of the lecture given? Talk to me.
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm saying to you is I see F as a potential witness that I may want to build a case on. Now, the reverse is L, right? That I know that L cannot be first and L cannot be second, right? So if L is third, doesn't it follow, isn't that going to push F? Do you see? If you make L third, right? Don't we know that the oil lecture has to come before it? Talk to me.
Yeah.
So if we didn't know anything about F, that means the oil could have been first or second, right?
Right.
But since we do know that F has to go before L, you see you can push this way as well. Talk to me. Does everybody see it? Because this is what it's about. I don't know what that has to do with formal logic. This is what it's about. And it doesn't matter whether you see it from right to left or you see it from left to right. That makes no difference. What they're testing is, who are you, up to this point, who are you calling into your office to develop the theory of the case? And for me, it's either F or L. You guys see it? So we
Peter,
have,
actually, sorry.
yeah.
So how could F be placed in the second position? So it could be either 1 or 2, how could it?
Well, is it fair to say we've been directed that F has to come at some time before O?
Right.
And is it further fair to say that O is a topic? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. And that O has to come before F, and that L is a topic. Yes?
Right.
Okay. So if F were third, you'd have a topic that was fifth. You see it?
I see now, yeah.
And again, if you put the clock on yourself, right, you're going to mess yourself up, right? If you say to yourself, but there's not enough time to do this on the test, my response is you're not taking the test today, right? And there's just no way around this. If you're freak bright, then you can cut all this short, right? But one way to get freak bright is to really understand it, and then you don't need to keep doing this detailed type of work. Do you get it? Once your mind can produce it, right, you don't need to go through the same logistics. But to get there, I urge you, fight your instinct that I've got to get this done in a hurry. Forget about that. I can try a case in a hurry. But that's after years of learning what preparation was. Okay, now, so I still have another constraint. But again, the big picture is what they're testing on, is they're giving you the law, the explicit law, and then they keep changing it. And it's mimicking what happens in law. A statute's passed, statute is amended either by the legislature, right, or by the courts, whatever, the laws keep changing. And you have to understand the derivative law, not the original law, because it's the derivative law that's the present law. You get it? This is a derivative from what we started with. Okay, what's next? H's lecture must be earlier than both G and J. So H, those are the people giving the lectures, right? So over here you're saying H HGJ, and I'm done. So is there anything up to this point, is there anything I've done that you would be not able to do? Is this requiring any specialized knowledge in any field? No, and honestly, God, that's why I love the test, love is strong. But I respect the test. Because you don't, having specialized knowledge in formal logic, okay, well, I don't have that. You know, so maybe it's helpful, but you don't need it. Now, if I look at this, isn't it fair to say that I can also establish that H has to give the first or the second lecture? But haven't I already established that F has to give the first or the second lecture? So, weave them, you see, bring it together. So isn't it fair to say, with respect to the lecture 1 is either H or F, right? And lecture 2 is either H or F. Oh. And that's going to push O and L. You see it? Talk to me. So now, I would be saying, I got this. It's complicated, meaning this, you get there a lot of balls up in the air, right? So now what you're practicing, God forbid, right? What you're practicing is how to draw this, how to draw something like this so you can organize it efficiently. And I'm saying, well, you know what? Ultimately, I have to order it. That's the bottom line. So what do we have to do? Would it be fair to say, at some point, we have to say to H, you're going to give a lecture, whatever. You're going to give a lecture on at this time. In other words, we've got to give this, right? So I'm saying, all right. So I'm going to go with O. I'm sorry, I'm going to go with F. Now, this is not pick one or die. You get your theory of the case you could have a theory of the case on H. And you could create two hypotheticals, right? Do you see that? H1, H2. Yes? I don't think that's as powerful as F. Because F connects to O and L. You with me?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's as powerful as L. Because working backwards, L is going to connect to O and F. But I read from left to right. So I'm just, these are both going to be valid. So I guess what I'm saying to you is what they're testing is, do you see an efficient, not the only way, right? But do you see an efficient way to build this case? So does everybody see how my mind is processing it, right? So I'm there and saying, well, haven't I established that with respect to F, there are only two possibilities? F is either first or second.
Yes.
So all I'm worrying now about is, since F is a lecturer, I'm not worried about the topic right now. Do you get it? Because can't I just figure out lecturers and then return to topics? So I'm going to do that. Now, you don't have to do that. You could take F and say, but wait a minute. When I place F there, I know about O and W. I know about the lecture. That's fine. There's no right or wrong way. But for me, it's, okay. So the fancy word here is to bifurcate. The tool you're going to use, when they allow you to draw, they want you to draw hypotheticals. So, is it fair to say that there are only two possibilities with F?
Yes.
If there were three possibilities, you would draw three hypotheticals, right? There are only two. So now I'm developing my theory of the case, and F is gone. Now I have two choices, right? No right or wrong choice. I can follow this path, right? Or I can come up here, right? So I'm going to come up here, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which way you go. Does everybody agree with me that as F has to be 1 or 2, H has to be 1 or 2?
Yes.
But now I know, well, son of a bitch, when F is 2, H has got to be 1. And when F is 1, H has got to be 2. Gosh, good figure. And would it be further fair to say that at the moment, G and J are interchangeable at 3 and 4?
Yes.
And you see, that's the managing part. They're not going to let you put every peg in a hole, because that's not law. There are things that are going to be left that you have to move around. Okay. Okay, and now I'm done with the lecture, right? And now I go to, okay, what are they yapping about? And here, you see I know nothing about S, right? Which is why that's box. So my information is, I'm trying to figure out about L, O, and W, and it's right here, right? So my eye would go to the bottom hypothetical first, because you see how F is placed in 2. Doesn't that mean O and L have to be in 3 and 4? Talk to me.
Yes.
Everybody get that? And now all I'm concerned about is the topic. So my mind is clear, I'm not conflating these things. O and L are taken care of. I've got S and W. And is it fair to say that on that bottom hypothetical, they're interchangeable? Yes? Okay. Now comes the top hypothetical. And I've got the same thing, F, O, L. So the first here, is it fair to say that the L, because now remember, I'm just worried about the topics, right? Is it fair to say that the L is pushed not just past the O, but past the W? Meaning that the L has to have both the O and the W in front of it. Yes? And is it further fair to say that O's starting point cannot be 1?
Right.
Right. So you say, well, if we make that 2, that would have to be 3, and that would be what?
Yeah.
4. Oh, but I still have to maintain the OL. It's got to be FOL. Right. I don't know about you, but the F's 1, right? So I'm kind of thinking the O has to be here or here. The W because the W, well, W could be 1, right? Yeah, W could be 1, and we have the S, and the S can be anywhere. So let me just get this. This could be S, and this could be W. Let me get this. Let me redo that. And that could be okay. We have that. We have the OL, we're in compliance with the OL, and we have what? We have S here, S can be anywhere. Could you have S here? Could you have S under here?
Yes.
So you would have more work up here. I just want to make sure I have this right. So up here, have OWL, that's right.
L
H
could
is
also
in
be
O
in
also.
3. L could be in 3.
No. No,
Because you
because
could have W-O.
that's behind both the O and the W.
Yeah.
Right.
W is 1, O is 2, L is 3.
No, we have F.
F is W.
No, but I'm saying F is here. So in
Right,
terms
but
of L,
F could be W.
run that by me again?
Like, the topic that F speaks about is W.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
then O could be 2, so then L could be 3.
Well, no, L always has to be behind W. L always has to be behind O, right? So that puts
Right.
L at 3 or 4.
Right. Which is,
And L always has to be behind F.
yes.
But then,
So if F is 1, speaking about W as topic, O is 2
Right.
as the topic,
Oh.
L could be 3
Yeah.
as
Right.
the topic.
I'm along with her, the top H is O.
let's redo this. Okay. So there are no limits on the S, so I don't care about the S for the moment. Right. But yeah, you're saying here that we have the F at 1, so that means neither the, well, right, well, the W could be 1, right? You're
Yes.
saying it's got to be OL, right? So that puts L here or here. It puts O, O would have to be 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Right. F has to come in front of the O and the L. Well, F is 1, we already know that, so if we have, right. So now it leaves me with S and W. And W has to come before the L, so W could be anywhere that O is.
And,
And, right,
yeah.
right. Right, so W could be here. And it just depends here where the O is. Well, no, the W couldn't be 3.
It depends on where the L is. Where.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Right, right. Would it be fair to say this is much more complicated? You know, and then you're saying the S, and the S could be anywhere. With the L. So if I was just trying to solve here, it says here on number 7, which one find must be true. And A says F is earlier than S. Well, it doesn't have to be true. It'd be true up here, but it wouldn't have to be true down here. Right? Could be true, but wouldn't have to be true. H is earlier than L. Well, here's H, here's L, here's H, and L's forced out. So B's the answer.
B's the answer?
Yeah, because if you're to say, if B says H is earlier than L, and all you do, if you're going to say it must be true, it has to be true in both hypotheticals. Right. So up here, L is either 3 or 4, and H is 2. So H has got to be earlier. And then down here, H is 1, and L can't be 1. Oh. Let's try a different one. So just, because really what I wanted to do was just practice the organizing. Everybody okay with this?
That was difficult.
There were a lot of variables. Yeah, and they're looking for, going back to what Tom White wrote in 1991, which is, these are not skills that are designed to be acquired in a short period of time. And so cramming, not going to work. And that's because they're abstract skills. Okay, let's try. I just want to put something up there that is straightforward and approachable, if that's possible. Let me put 75 here. If you look at exam 75, section 4.